Welcome to this explainer, where today we are jumping right into a question that is quietly but massively shaping our entire future. We're going to take a deep, philosophical look at the concepts laid out in Ravindra Nayak's incredible volume, The Data Science Superagent. We hear a lot of hype right now about artificial intelligence, right? Everyone is obsessed with raw computational power and how smart these systems are getting. But we're going to move past all of that today to talk about something much more vital. We're going to talk about permission, limits, and the actual architecture of safe action. So let's start with a few basic, undeniable realities. Think about this for a second. Why do we rigorously supervise interns on their very first day at a new job? Why do parents spend literally years teaching their children boundaries? Or how about this one? Why do our most advanced commercial airplanes feature these highly capable autopilot systems, but we still absolutely require two human pilots sitting in the cockpit? Here's another one. Why do cars have brakes that are physically stronger than their engines? It's a fundamental principle of engineering. In the physical world, we just inherently understand that raw power demands proportionate restraint, because capability without control isn't progress at all. It's just a hazard waiting to happen.
Which brings us to the absolute core of our explainer today. People talk endlessly about how intelligent AI is becoming. We celebrate the speed, the scaling, the processing power. We dream of these fully autonomous agents doing everything for us. But almost nobody is stopping to ask, what should a machine never do? Why are we building incredibly powerful systems without first asking how much freedom they should actually be allowed to have? You know, the future of AI might not be decided by intelligence at all. It might actually be decided by boundaries.
Let's move into Section 1. Intelligence is not freedom, distinguishing capability from permission. Okay, so let's strip away the sci-fi movie hype for a minute. A calculator is incredibly intelligent at math. It's way smarter than you or me, but it doesn't spontaneously decide to send an email to your boss. Your GPS perfectly maps the entire globe in real time, but it doesn't suddenly execute trades in your bank account just because you drove past a stockbroker. Why is that? Well, it's because while a system can be unbelievably smart, taking action requires an entirely different layer of responsibility. And that crucial distinction is captured perfectly in Nayak's source material with this thought. Autonomy is not intelligence. Autonomy is permission. Giving an AI autonomy isn't magically making it smarter, it is simply granting it the permission to act without your immediate step-by-step instruction. Which leads us to Section 2. Civilization runs on boundaries, how limits unlock power. Look at the systems human civilization relies on every single day. Traffic lights, air traffic control, constitutions, medical ethics, nuclear plant protocols. Every truly powerful tool or system in our world only becomes genuinely useful because boundaries exist to contain it. Without those guardrails, power immediately degrades into total chaos. So limits don't weaken these systems at all. They are exactly what makes their immense power safe for us to use. There's a brilliant analogy from Nayak's argument that hits the nail on the head here. A goal without a boundary is like telling a driver to reach the airport quickly without mentioning traffic rules. You see, direction is completely meaningless without responsibility. A goal just tells an agent what success looks like, but a boundary tells it what it must never do while trying to achieve that success. Section 3. 4 Roots of Autonomy, the architecture of safe action. To actually build this kind of responsibility into AI, the source material introduces 4 foundational roots. If you want a safe, autonomous system, you have to clearly define its purpose, you must restrict its boundaries, you absolutely have to actively listen to its feedback, and you must have a solid mechanism in place to repair its mistakes when things inevitably go wrong. Because think about the alternative. Without purpose, motion just becomes meaningless. Without boundaries, capability becomes highly dangerous. Without feedback, mistakes are just going to repeat themselves. And without repair, learning completely disappears. If you're missing even one of these 4 roots, autonomous action goes from being a helpful tool to becoming a massive, dangerous liability. That brings us to Section 4, the wisdom of stopping, when inaction is the smartest choice. This right here triggers a massive paradigm shift. What if the absolute smartest AI is not the one that has an answer for everything? What if the smartest AI is actually the one that knows exactly when to stop? We've kind of been conditioned to think that an AI's ultimate goal is constant, unbroken output, but a system that just never pauses, even when it's confused or out of its depth, is basically an accident waiting to happen. And that is exactly where the stop rule comes in. A stop rule is a strict condition telling the agent that continuing would be unsafe, unsupported, or simply beyond its authority. It's essentially the brake pedal on our AI car. It protects us from hidden overreach, those wild hallucinations, and unaccountable guesswork. It's the system responsibly saying to us, I can help you up to this line, but absolutely no further. So when an AI does hit one of those edge cases, it shouldn't just crash or start guessing blindly. It should trigger what's called a safe stop flow. It needs to gracefully stop, ask a clarifying question, escalate the issue, and then hand the consequence right back to a human reviewer to repair and learn from. Real uncertainty has to be met with caution, not reckless motion. Stopping is not weakness. Stopping is wisdom. An AI pausing to ask a human a question isn't a glitch in the matrix. It's actually a sign of incredibly mature, responsible design. It proves that the system's autonomy is properly bounded by the weight of real-world consequence. Section 5. Climbing the autonomy ladder, matching freedom to consequence. Now, how do we actually measure out this freedom in practice? Well, the source material lays out the autonomy ladder, which shows us that not every single task out there deserves full, unsupervised independence. Freedom has to be earned over time, and it has to scale precisely according to risk. So you systematically step up. You start at assisting, move up to recommending, then acting with approval, and only then do you move to acting within strict limits. This framework gives us 4 very distinct boundaries of autonomy: may act, must ask, must escalate, and must never do. If a task is completely reversible and low cost, sure, the AI may act. But if it's a high consequence, irreversible decision, it absolutely must escalate. This whole approach just strips away all that vague industry hype and gives us a clear, undeniable map to actually govern any intelligent system. Section 6. Architects of Responsibility, the evolving human role. So ultimately, what happens to us? What happens to the humans who are supposedly going to be completely replaced by all these agents? Well, contrary to popular fear, humans don't disappear from the loop at all. Our roles just elevate. We transition from being mere operators doing repetitive manual tasks to becoming designers, strategic reviewers, guardians of boundaries, and repairers of consequence. Basically, we evolve into the architects of responsibility. And the reason for that is stated so powerfully by the author. Human supervision belongs wherever consequences remain human. Look, an AI system might assist with the heavy lifting. It might process millions of data points in a fraction of a second. But money, trust, physical safety, and human dignity, those are spent, lost, and felt entirely by us. The ultimate consequence is always going to be human. So I want to leave you with this final, provocative question to ponder today. Look at your own daily life, your own business, the way you work. What human responsibility absolutely must remain visible? Where do you personally need to draw the boundary for the AI tools that you're relying on? Because the future isn't just about how smart our machines can get. It's really about how wisely we choose to govern them. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.